Hey guys, let's see today's parent
January
topics.
23rd, 2026. A date that for many in the UK feels much like the months before it, marked by financial anxiety and tough choices. The UK is still feeling the cost of living crisis, even as inflation's wildest peaks have faded. On high streets and in supermarkets, families are still counting every pound and pence, searching for deals and making sacrifices. Prices aren't falling. They're just rising more slowly, keeping family budgets under strain. Essentials like food, rent, and transport remain stubbornly expensive, and every bill feels heavier than before. Inflation ticked up to 3.4% in December, still well above the Bank of England's 2% target. That means the cost of everyday life is still climbing, just not as quickly as last year. Wages are up, but only slightly. Real pay growth is less than 1%, barely making a dent after years of stagnant earnings. For many, pay rises are quickly swallowed by higher prices at the checkout and bigger bills at home. Most people feel
Click subscribe.
61% say their cost of living rose last month, mainly due to food and energy. Rising energy bills and grocery costs are forcing households to rethink spending and cut back on even basic comforts. The Office for Budget Responsibility predicts only sluggish growth in disposable income for years to come. Economic forecasts suggest that relief will be slow, and many families will have to adapt to this new reality. For millions, the squeeze is the new normal, a daily challenge that shapes how they live, spend, and plan for the future. Well, the crisis hits hardest at the checkout, where every pound now seems to buy less than it did just a year ago. And on utility bills, essentials, not luxuries, where families are forced to make tough choices about heating, lighting, and daily comfort. Food prices rose 4.5% last year, with basics like bread and cereals leading the way. Even staple items that once felt affordable are now stretching household budgets to the limit. Food insecurity is rising. 11% of households now struggle to afford enough to eat, and many parents are skipping meals so their children don't go hungry. Food banks are stretched thin, distributing nearly 3 million emergency parcels in just 18 months as demand continues to surge. Energy bills remain high, with the average household paying around $1,158 a year, forcing many to cut back on
Click
other
subscribe.
essentials just to keep the lights on. The end of government rebates means families now face the full brunt of these costs, with little relief in sight. Rents are soaring, especially in cities, making it even harder for young people and families to find affordable places to live. And homeowners face higher mortgage payments, with interest rates pushing monthly costs to new highs. The combined pressure of food, energy, and housing is eroding household resilience across the UK, leaving many families anxious about the future and unsure how to make ends meet. The crisis hits low-income families hardest. They spend more of their income on essentials. The poorest 10% face an effective inflation rate 2 points higher than the richest. Median incomes for the lowest earners have dropped by over 6% since 2019. 7.1 million low-income households are going without basics. Over half have skipped heating or meals. Benefits increases lag behind real costs, leaving a gap of about $1,000 a year for those on universal credit. Many are forced into debt or arrears just to survive. The result, rising poverty, hunger, and stress, with long-term impacts on health and opportunity. To fight inflation, the Bank of England hiked interest rates to a 16-year high, sending shockwaves through the UK economy and affecting nearly every household. Although rates have eased slightly since their peak, they remain much higher than just a few years ago, making borrowing more expensive for everyone from first-time home buyers to small business owners. Millions with fixed-rate mortgages now face steep payment increases as their deals expire, forcing many to make tough choices about their finances and daily lives. The Institute for Fiscal Studies estimates that hundreds of thousands have been pushed into poverty by these higher mortgage costs, with families struggling to keep up. As a result, more people are turning to debt, using credit cards, loans and overdrafts just to cover everyday expenses. In November alone, 22% of adults reported borrowing more simply to get by, highlighting the growing reliance
Please
on short-term
subscribe.
credit. For low-income households, borrowing isn't about luxuries. It's often the only way to afford essentials like food, heating and transport. Now 70% of these families are behind on at least one bill, facing mounting arrears and the constant threat of disconnection or eviction. 1 in 3 adults say they couldn't cover an unexpected $850 expense, leaving them vulnerable to even minor financial shocks. With the safety net stretched thin, even a single setback can push families over the edge, making recovery harder than ever. As 2026 begins, the UK's economic outlook is fragile. Inflation remains higher than in the Eurozone or US, and unemployment is up to 5.1%. Even if inflation slows, prices are still rising from a much higher base. Real disposable income is forecast to grow by just 0.5% a year until 2029. Millions have depleted savings and taken on debt. Recovery will be slow. The crisis affects health, education, and social cohesion, exposing deep inequalities. The next interest rate decision looms, but monetary policy alone can't
Thank
fix
you
this.
for watching, guys.
Rebuilding resilience and addressing stagnant wages will define the years ahead.